What's up, duelists? Dale here from Zephyr, and today is officially, technically turn 0 of YCS Birmingham. So it is the Friday where we go down. You basically make sure you pre-register by 7 p.m. You don't need to be there in person. You make sure that you have your debt list submitted via Neuron. You can pick up your entry prizes straight away off the bat, which is always really good to do because the queues do get bigger over time because there are still people that are going to be at work and everything else in between. But the idea is that I do advise that you have your debt list set and ready to go and have it submitted. But also remember, if you do enter any side events and make any changes, you need to make sure you update them on Neuron and then resubmit the debt list by 7 p.m. Now, it seems to be a common thing that it is 7 p.m. of the day. So that's something you always need to be aware of. There's been a couple of times where I didn't even know that. Like the first time they introduced it with Neuron, I was like, what? So yeah, you do need to be very, very careful on that one. Make sure your deck has been submitted. And then the best thing to do is after the 7 p.m. deadline, double check your debt list that you have submitted and the physical debt list that you have to make sure that they are the same, or technically the physical deck. So Shane and Rob should be here very, very shortly. Then we're going to be hitting the motorway, working our way up to Birmingham. When we get there, we're going to stop. We're going to grab a coffee, chill, reset, and then we'll enter the venue around about 12 o'clock. We'll do a 3v3, kind of warm us up, get some changes in, maybe play a side deck so you completely refresh your brain for the deck that you are going to be playing the day after on the main event, and then go from there. So I'll show you all of the B-roll. We'll work our way through the venue so you can see exactly the environment that's being built up around this place. And the YCS are always a fun experience. So we'll be catching you in a second. Do you know how, like in Champions League, there's like sometimes in the final they'll get like they'll fly in the trophy or something. There you go. They're flying in the YCS Birmingham trophy. Okay, so we've made it to Resort World. Great start. Went and grabbed our Starbucks coffee, got us a bit of energy going. It is currently, on the exact time that I'm recording this, literally 4 minutes to 12. So in 4 minutes time, the doors right behind us will open up for hall number 12, which is where everyone's going to be going. We'll get cracking on. I'll try and take some images inside the hall so you can see the setup that they've got, go over all the vendors, show you all the signing cards. Hopefully it'll be relatively quiet because we're here like, I wouldn't say like proper early, but on a Friday it's always going to be a little bit quieter than it will be on the Saturday, and as the day builds on, it'll get even better. So I'll try and get you some B-roll rocking around the venue, give you a bit of an insight, and yeah, go from there, give you some updates, how everything goes. We're probably going to enter the 3v3, maybe some other side events depending on what time we've got, and then go from there. So we'll catch you again in a bit. Okay, so it's end of day one, or technically day 0, where we went and did some side events. So I say side events, we did side event 3v3. I decided to test out the Malice Bestial version, and honestly, it did not go well at all. We did 4 rounds, and of the 4 rounds, we only won 1, which was absolutely mental. First round, I ended up facing Azamina, Kashtira, Crystron, which was insanely fun to kind of see play out, but they just had every answer under the sun. I was like, yeah, cool, fair, hands up, definitely beat on that one. Second was Mermel. I lost game 1, won game 2, and then game 3, I just got like full looped. I had no hand traps, no nothing, and they were able to pretty much just build up their insane board, and their board is actually really powerful. So they ended up ripping 2 with Mooning Glacier, and then they ended on like double toe, trap card, and that was before even any hand traps in the hand. So round 3, I ended up facing White Forest Azamina. Won game 1, lost game 2, won game 3, and then final round, I was up against Fiendsmith Ryziel. Game 1, I opened up pretty much nothing. They went full combo. I couldn't break it. Game 2 was a really long grind game. They won that one. And then game 3, I opened up all engine and then one Perulia, and I activated the Perulia, they ashed it, and then everything else from that point on, I just couldn't beat there. Like, the end board was like Wave King and Detonator, and I just couldn't out it because I didn't open up any board breakers. So I was like, yep, cool. So I literally submitted my deck list at 6:57 p.m, which was 3 minutes before the cut-off deadline, because I was sitting there staring, and the worst thing about it was I set an alarm and I was staring at my deck, and I had all these different versions that I wanted to try. So I was definitely going to go with Malice, but then I was kind of caught on, do I want to play the Fiendsmith version? Do I want to play the Sky Striker version that I've been playing because it allowed me to play Dominus Impulse? And even during the 3v3, Dominus Impulse put in so much work. Or the last one was the Bestial version. Ultimately, and I kept umming and ahhing about it. I was like, oh, if I can get this card, I'll play the Sky Striker version. And then literally I went, I'm just going to flip a coin. I flipped the coin, it landed on Fiendsmith. And even when that happened, my better judgment was still like, no, stay with Sky Striker, stay with Sky Striker. But just watching people play the Fiendsmith engine, it's just incredibly resilient. It gets so much from so little. I kind of felt that I'd be at a disadvantage to not play the Fiendsmith version. And then even tonight, so now, it's like 11 PM at night. The deck list's been submitted. I'm going with Fiendsmith Malice. There is no change about that whatsoever. But even deep down, I'm like, oh, damn. I really wish I played the Sky Striker version. Just because, the one thing that I didn't like about the Fiendsmith version is it takes up so much of the extra deck. So like the 6 cards in the extra deck that it takes up, you could open up to a Kagari, Nightmare Griffin, which I'm now not playing, Splash Mage, which I'm now not playing, Nightmare Phoenix, which I'm obviously now not playing, and then it opens up one more space that could be pretty much anything you wanted it to be, something like a Firewall, or a Linkaribo or anything along those lines. The ultimate reason I went with the Fiendsmith version was just because in the 3v3, I kept getting Nibiru'd. Everyone was dropping Nibiru on me, and I was like, you know what, I can't keep getting dropped on Nibiru. So I went with the Fiendsmith version because they're the most consistent one that I could see or think about that kind of gets you into Wave King Caesar, which is also an incredibly powerful interruption, but also a way to stop Nibiru. With the Sky Striker version, the only way you stop Nibiru is with a Dominus Impulse or with a Crossout Designator, but then you have to have space to put Nibiru in the main deck. So there's a lot of things I wish I could change about my list that I could do now, which I'm not going to be able to. We're going to roll with it. We're going to see how it goes tomorrow. We'll see how the rounds go. And if I end up going like X3 straight away, then it means I can drop out, I can come back, and then I'll build a side deck or a different deck for a bit of fun. Or we'll just chill in the afternoon. If not, we'll see how it goes. If my hands are a little bit luckier, if my opponents are a little bit unluckier, then maybe we'll grind it through. But I'll show you guys how it is tomorrow morning. There's actually a news report that apparently there's going to get loads of snow. I doubt it because the UK just love going, we're going to get snow. And then you wake up in the morning, it's like, yeah, but it rained the night before. There's like nothing there. We've got an early morning tomorrow. We're going to see how it goes. We're going to work it from there. And then we will pretty much see how we do on day one. So we'll catch you all in a bit. Okay, so slight bit of an update. So as you can probably guess from the vlog and the video, I haven't been doing round updates because it didn't go so well. Yes, I dropped round 4. So round 1 was up against Ryziel. Sorry, round 1 was Ryziel Pure. It was an interesting back and forth, but then I think we got into game 3 and they just had the answers to my hand traps. I was like, okay, cool, whatever. We roll on. So moved into round number 2. Round number 2 was up against Bestial Tempai, and they won the dice roll. They went first, so straight away I wasn't expecting, like, I had no idea that it was going to be something like Bestials. Did all the Bestial combos, I was like, woo! And then they went, they normal summon, I think they normal summon Hydra or something. Basically built up from there, and because they had the spell card set for Bestials, so regained, I knew I was going to be in trouble. So I was like, okay, well, if I start off by showing my access, I'm just trying to remember where I parked. If I start off by showing access that I'm playing Malice, whether they knew or not, but they end phased off of their Magnamute searched out a Phantasme. So I thought they had an inkling of what I was playing already. So I was like, I'll try not to show Malice. I opened up the Fiendsmith, started to play through with the Fiendsmiths, but it just kept getting hit. So they had Bulldrake, which was the one beast. If they had Druid Swarm, not a problem, but they'd hard open up the Bulldrake. So I was like, okay, cool. Bulldrake, target my Fiendsmith, shut off the Fiendsmith engine. I wasn't able to build on from there, and I was like, you know what, I'm not going to show my Malice, because then maybe they can still think that I'm on Ryziel or Malice. Went into game 2. Game 2 saw none of my side cards. they opened up Magnamut Android Swarm. I was like, oh, killer. And then they went into battle phase, and they went battle phase, attack, activate Sangang Kaiman. I was like, yeah, okay, writing's on the wall. You just make the level 10 synchro, and the level 10 synchro kind of forces all my stuff to attack. So I was 1 round away from dropping. I was like, as soon as you go X3, even though there was 2,495 players, I was like, as soon as you go X3, it's going to be very, very doubtful unless your losses are against the top of the top. Went into round 3. Round 3 was a Malice, really nice player. They were playing the Sky Striker version, and I was able to win that one. So I was like, okay, cool, a little bit more hope, let's go again. Went into round 4. Round 4 was against Pure Ryzeal, and they literally just had... So game 1, I was able to stop them, but they ended on Detonator, and I didn't see any of my outs to Detonator at all. So I had Metatronus in the main deck, didn't see it. Book of Eclipse in the main deck, didn't see it. And I had to use the Imperm previously to kind of stop it. Actually, that being said, what I didn't mention was in round 1, my opponent pulled out the Photon Galaxy rank 4, which completely took me by surprise. I probably should have known it. Like, when you think about it and when you read it, it's like, there's a no-brainer that card goes in Ryzeal. So they pulled this rank 4 out, which basically says your monsters with 2,000 or more attack can't be targeted. My hand, if I'd seen my Book of Eclipse, happy days. My hand was Imperm and Metatronus, and I couldn't use either of those on Detonator, so I was like, rough. Anyway, jumping back forth to round 4, they ended their board on a Detonator with 3 detaches. I couldn't break it. Went game 2, played that out. And again, they just opened up. They opened up really, like, not amazingly well, but I was able to kind of stop them, slow them down. But then they ultimately ended up getting Detonator again with 3 materials, and I didn't have anything strong enough. So I made some, in that game, I made some misplays, and that kind of was the difference, as I grab my bag out of the car. That was kind of like the difference between some of the plays I could have made. So I kind of felt at that point there, I was not like done in a bad way, like, you know what, done, I'm out, in an aggressive kind of like salty manner. But I was kind of like, look, as soon as my head starts going and I'm making basic misplays because I'm just not focusing on what needs to be done, what could be done, it's probably right. And honestly, when I was putting the deck list together last night, I had this absolute, not stupid moment, but I doubted myself. So like, my original build that I played, that I'd been doing well at locals with, was a Sky Striker version. And I liked the fact that I could use Dominus Impulse in the Striker version. And then I kind of got into my own head where a lot of people were like, oh, Impulse clashes with this, and this. And I started to doubt myself. And then the other thing that I liked about the Sky Striker version is that it just freed up so much of the extra deck. I was like, cool, I can play Typhon. My route into a Bower Q, I can play Griffin, everything like this. And I was like, well, you know what, Phoenix are just so resilient, so broken. I'd probably be putting myself at a disadvantage if I didn't play them. So ultimately ended up putting that in. And I feel the fallout from all of that really shook the deck, because I was like, oh, if I play the Striker version, I could have been playing Lightning Storm in my side deck. I could have been playing D-Shifter on my side deck. Both of those cards are just incredibly powerful blowout cards. Not that Lightning Storm would be that good in, like, with hindsight, when I looked at the matches, they wouldn't be that great for me. I've still got to deal with like Cross and still got to deal with Detonator protecting stuff. So it was like, I'm not using it as an excuse as to why it didn't go well, but I'm just kind of saying, as a experienced guy, a bit of feedback, try not to get into your head. I went to this event going, you know what, I'm going to have my deck list ready, I'm not even going to worry. I didn't submit my deck list until 6:55. I spent 45 minutes with, these are the cards that are definitely going to be in there, all the Malice cards, and then I had a little pile for the Sky Striker version, a little pile for the Phoenix version, and a little pile for the Bestial version, and I was like, which one should I take? So I actually let YCS Orlando kind of get in my own head a little bit. I'm not saying it was the wrong decision overall, because I don't think no matter what version I went with, I would have done much better, because I think the matchups, just like when I look back on the matchups, there was, apart from round 4 where I made misplays, there wasn't really anything where I could have played or navigated better. It just was one of them ones that the game comes out the way it does. Anyway, Chris was doing incredibly well, so update on everyone else. Chris was doing incredibly well. He was on Voice's Voice. He got all the way to, I think, round 6, and he's officially now, or he's considering dropping. He's just grabbing some food. So he did incredibly well. He was like X. At round 4, he was X1, so he'd only lost 1 game. And then he hit 2 Fiend Smiths on the bounce and lost both of those, unfortunately. Shane was on Tenpai Sky, like the top 16 YCS Orlando. There's a lot of those here, actually, the bestial versions, which I wouldn't be surprised by. Mermail, like, I'm actually, preview, I'm picking up some Mermail bits right now. It's a deck that I really didn't like, but I never really looked into it, and I just thought, I really like Dominus Impulse as a card, and this is really bad as well, so I'm letting Dominus Impulse dictate what deck I want to play. I just love the card. And then Alan was playing Mermails in the main deck. He didn't do well at all, okay, by the way. Didn't do that well. But I was like, looking at his deck and I was like, you know what? I actually like, it's all relatively cheap because of Rarity Collection 3, bar Abyss Pike, and some other random commons that I might have in bulk back at home. I was like, I'll give it a go. Let's see what we get. And then Rarity Collection 4 might actually have some in the minute, which would be great. Rob unfortunately didn't enter the main event. He decided to stay at the Airbnb and chill. Jamie was on Tenpai Striker as well. I think he ended up dropping. Leo I haven't heard from yet as an update, but he went with Ryziel Fiendsmith, and I think he was having like a bit of an up-down time. Jamie was on Ryziel Pure. Terry was on Ryziel Pure. I'm not sure where he's at now. Like, I think the last time I talked to him, he was X1, but that was at round 4. I literally went and got Nando's, I'm not gonna lie. Went and got Nando's with Shane and Alan. We just chilled. On top of that as well, Shane went and won a winner mat, which is actually quite funny, with the same deck, but his matchups, rather than like, I think he said his matchups were like really awkward. His matchup I saw was Sprite, and then he faced a Ryziel Pure in the end, but he was playing like blowout strikers, which was blowout Tenpai, which is mental, because you just play like all the board breakers, break boards, and then go from there. So I'm gonna head back into the venue. It's actually freezing. I've just gone and picked up my bag because I want to check what cards I'm missing, what I don't, and then pick up some more, and then we'll go from there. So I'll bring you another update, maybe on side events, maybe at the end of day 1, just kind of seeing how everything is going. So I'll catch you in a bit. Okay, so I am officially back from YCS. I haven't done many of these vlogs because technically today on Sunday, didn't really do a lot. So we had a bit of a lie-in, we got to the venue, we were going to do some side events, we decided against that. We basically ended up spending some money at the vendors. Some were good investments, some probably not so much. We did get to witness Dinkabui take Fire Kings all the way and be crowned the brand new YCS Birmingham champion, so massive congratulations to him. Commiserations to Tony. I was watching his duel and I thought it was absolutely amazing. Like, I honestly thought when he activated that strike, that was the game changer in round 3. Unfortunately for him, I feel that he might have made a misplay in regards to the firewall and might have forgotten that he was under impulse, meaning that he couldn't use the bounce effect. But that being said, Dinkabui being able to activate Chaos Hunter, also stopping the White Binder being able to complete the banishing, which would have changed the game again. A lot of back and forth, an amazing final, an amazing spectacle, and even the top 8 and top 4 duels were both incredible to watch. So definitely one of the YCSs for a long time. Anyway, that is going to be it from the YCS vlog. We will be looking forward to this week being, of course, the official release of the Blue Eyes structure deck, and I can't wait to open those up and start cooking, putting a deck together, whether it be a budget version, whether it be a full power no budget version, duels, combos, you name it. I'll bring it for you so you can see exactly what the Blue Eyes deck is going to do going forward, and you never know, we might see someone pilot Blue Eyes White Dragon as a structure deck, just like Dinkabui, and take a YCS win. For now, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, as absolutely always, stay safe, and of course, happy dueling.